Hello students, welcome to my class again. So here we have the third and the fourth page of lesson 1, invention of shoes. We'll start with the third page, first paragraph. Someone else suggested, keep the king indoors. See to it that there was no hole or loophole anywhere. If he does not step on dust, no dust shall touch his royal feet. So many plans they were making. Out of that, one more suggested that we should keep the king inside the door. He should not come out of the house, of the room, so that the royal feet will not get dirty. And also the suggestion was that which room the king will be, there should not be any hole or any loophole. A loophole means a narrow escape also, a narrow place where the dust can come in. So it was suggested by one of the person, on which the king said, very true, but I am worried. If I were to stay shut up indoors every day, all day, then the royal machinery shall come to a stop. My kingdom shall be ruined. Ruined means destroy. Ruined means destroy. So in this paragraph, king was very happy with the suggestion one person gave to be in the room, to be indoor only. He said, very true. It's good, correct idea. But it was having one more tension, that if the king will remain indoor, then who will run the kingdom? Of course, if a king is inside of the door, then who will follow, who will go for all the investigation, what is happening around the kingdom and how the kingdom should go smoothly? Then of course, the kingdom will be destroyed. So this was the tension, where the king cannot be inside the door. Next paragraph. Then, taking matters into his own hands, the king announced, call the tanners, all of them. Wrap the whole land in leather. This shall be my great contribution, a mighty blanket for the dusty earth. Now, in this paragraph, it is said that all the decision now, when king saw that no one can plan out how to save the royal feet, the king took all the matter into his hand and announced to call the tanners. What is a tanner? A tanner is a tanners means a people who make leather. Okay, a person who make leather. So he called the tanners. He said to call all the tanners in the kingdom and tell them to wrap the whole land in leather. He was very happy to find out this idea, and it was good enough also. Okay, what he was planning? He was planning that the mighty blanket, the very large leather blanket for the dusty earth, so that the dust will not be everywhere. It will be covered with the mighty leather blanket. So what happened? Everyone bowed to the king. They appreciated the king's idea. What a brilliant idea, Your Royal Highness, they said. It is only a question of finding a tanner good enough. They were all praising for the idea the king told. And they were telling that only what we need is a tanner, a good quality tanner. The royal emissaries set off in every which way. Everyone stopped what they were doing and rushed out to look for a tanner good enough. Where could they find such a tanner? And where could they find so much leather? At last, the chief tanner of the kingdom presented himself at the royal court. He was an old man. He bowed to the king, smiled a little, and said, if your Royal Highness permits, I have a suggestion to make It might fulfill your wish in a simple yet effective way. So, what happened after getting the brilliant idea from the king? Everyone in the kingdom stopped doing what they were doing. And what they started? They started to find a good tenor. And also, not only they were searching for a good tenor, excellent tenor, they were also searching the way where they could get so much of leather. And finding for a tanner, at last they got the chief tanner of the kingdom. He was an old man. Now he went near the king, bowed and smiled a little, and said, "If you permits, he has a brilliant idea that can fulfill the king's wish." What was the idea? Okay, let's see. "You may make your suggestion," said the king. So king said to give the suggestion. "Cover your royal feet, your royal highness," said the old tanner. "Then you shall not have to cover the whole earth." The idea given by the tanner was to cover the royal feet. Why to cover the whole earth? We should cover the royal feet only. If it was all that easy, 1 second. Yeah, the last lines. Here is the third last paragraph. "If it was all that easy to solve the problem," said the king, "then would everyone in the kingdom have lost their sleep over it?" The king said, "It was so easy. The tanner is giving so easy idea that we should only cover the royal feet. Why to cover the whole earth?" Then on this, he started saying everyone in the kingdom that what they were doing, why they were losing their sleep over, why they did not get the idea. "Arrest the fellow," said Koburai. The minister said, "Arrest this fellow and throw him in the jail." Throw him into jail. He shouted on the tanner and told the men to arrest the fellow. But the time he spoke this, already the old tanner was deep at work, sitting down at the king's feet. Sitting down at the king's feet, he had been measuring and cutting, stitching and fitting. What he was doing? When the time the Gopurai was shouted, he was shouting on the fellow to arrest and send him into the jail. He had already done half of the work by sitting down at the king's feet while measuring, cutting, stitching and fitting the shoes. Before the king could decide whether to throw him, 1 second, let me turn this page. Before the king could decide whether to throw him into the jail or to forgive him, he had finished a neat pair of shoes and presented it to his royal highness. Okay? Before the king could think about what to do with this old man, the old man had already finished a neat pair of shoes and he had already presented it to his royal highness. Now what happened? See the third last paragraph of this chapter. King Hobo put on the shoes. They fit him perfectly. His royal feet felt warm and snug, and most importantly, clean. The minister spared the old tanner. He said, "I had the same idea myself. Some way or the other, the fellow must have got hold of my idea." And so, from that day, began the use of shoes. The royal feet were saved. so was Gobu, and so was the earth. What is these paragraph means? Was telling that when the tanner presented a good pair of shoes to the royal highness, the highness Hobu put on the shoes, which was very comfortable to him, which was very comfortable and coming perfectly, fit him perfectly, and the most important thing was, which was keeping the royal feet clean. On this, the minister spared the old man. He spared the old man and said that I was having the same idea. I think this man has taken my idea from one or the other way. The last line, what happened? Excuse was given by the minister, and from that day, that was the beginning of the use of shoes actually. The royal feet were saved while making the shoes by tanner. The royal feet were saved, and so was the Gobu, and so was the earth. So this was the explanation of chapter 1, the invention of shoes. I hope students you will understand it. So I will discuss the question answers in the next class. Thank you.